My name is Whitney Lee. I'm a developer advocate, and I'm here with Andrew Block. Andrew, will you tell us about yourself, please?
Absolutely, Whitney. Hey, everyone. My name is Andy Blanc. I'm a distinguished architect. Yeah, stop doing that. At Red Hat, uh, I work with organizations around the world implementing cloud solutions.
So, Andrew just spent an hour and a half teaching me about SOPS, which stands for Secrets Operations, and we made this light board together. Here's a recap. We're going to try to go over SOPS for you, give you a 411 on what SOPS is in just 15 or 20 minutes. So let's go for it.
Nice digestible amount of content.
Yes. So, Andrew, will you paint me a picture of what the world was like before SOPS existed that caused it to get created?
Yeah, SOPS, before the world existed, many individuals need to protect sensitive assets. And what SOPS provides is a simple way for you to not only protect assets, but integrate them into a number of security backends and tools.
SOPS has been around a long time.
It's been around for a while, yeah.
Yeah. So infrastructure as code starting to be a thing. People want to be able to put secrets in their files and store and share those configuration files. Some of the solutions that were out there were like enterprise grade and maybe overkill. So what is SOPS?
SOPS is a simple tool to encrypt and decrypt files.
So it's a binary that you consume via the CLI. And so when you first told me that, I'm like, okay, great. I get it. It's really straightforward. And then when you started to tell me like everything SOPS integrates with and all the use cases, for a moment, I got overwhelmed because it's like a simple tool, but it does a lot.
Yeah, so a couple different use cases are encrypt credentials for a database, protect an SSH key so I can communicate to a destination server, manage secrets in Kubernetes, and be able to then keep certain fields of my manifest secure.
Couple of them that you mentioned during our conversation that I thought were like explosive, using SOPS to integrate with one or many key management tools. And so we'll go over that in a minute, but that's having one interface for all those tools seems like a super big deal, like a game changer, as they say. And another thing is with SOPS, when you encrypt and decrypt these files or certain fields in a file, that means you can check that configuration file with secrets into Git. And that's a game changer too, because of GitOps. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. So let's start with all the different integrations and how SOPS is like a single way to interface with all of these tools at once.
The simplest way to integrate SOPS with the backend is by generating a GPG key. Many organizations use that currently to protect other assets. This is a great way that you can integrate an enterprise solution in which a solution that is being used not only for like development purposes, but also for other different use cases into SOPS.
So GPG key is the number one way to integrate with SOPS, but then you could also use SOPS to pull files from your AWS KMS, your GCP KMS, your Azure Key Vault, from your HashiCorp Vault. So this deceptively simple way to just encrypt and decrypt files really makes it so just to make all these different things be able to talk to each other in a way where you have a single interface, no matter how you're doing it. So whether you're doing that as a human in the CLI or whether you're doing that part of GitOps or part of your CI/CD pipeline, it's pretty cool that you can interface with them all just with this one tool. I haven't forgotten about GitOps, by the way. I'm saving it. But let's get into how do I actually use the dang thing? How do you use SOPS?
The simplest way to do it is to basically use the binary on your local machine and specify a number of flags. Flags are the glue. So I want to go ahead and I want to encrypt a file. I do SOPS-E, and reference the file, or SOPS-E, which is how I decrypt it.
But then you mentioned this .sops.yaml file that you can use instead of setting flags. Tell me about that.
Correct. So you can either specify the backend encryption integration using a set of flags, so decp to use PGP, or I can specify a .sops.yaml file that contains what they call creation rules that specify the individual backend encryption that you want to leverage for the particular file.
So when would it be good to use one of the sops.yaml files?
I always recommend just doing it all the time, if possible. Yeah. The best part when you don't want to do it is if you just want to be able to just use the tool to be able to integrate with the file. You don't want to deal with additional manifests. You just want to be able to encrypt, decrypt, use a flag, call it a day.
So basically that YAML makes the configuration
More
shareable
declarative.
and reusable. Yeah. So like declarative. Perfect.
Yeah. Exactly.
So then we talked about other SOPS configuration knobs. So you specify which tool you're going to be pulling the secrets from, because that's not what SOPS isn't storing the secrets.
Correct.
Which keys to encrypt. So you maybe don't encrypt the whole file if you don't need to, if you want some of it to remain human readable. Once the information is decrypted, where does it go? Like, do you just print it out to the command line, or does it get re-embedded into another configuration file? That's one of the things you can specify. You can specify environment variables if you want to use those instead of flags. And if you want to re-encrypt certain lines, you can specify that too. And now for the finale, let's talk about integration with GitOps.
So we can integrate with a number of different GitOps tools. The primary tools that are being used to manage GitOps in Kubernetes ecosystem is Helm and Customize. I always get the question, which one do I use? Do I use Helm? Do I use Customize? I always say, it depends on the use case. But the good news is you can integrate both into the SOPS world. Customize has a generator plugin called KSOPS that allow you to integrate and decrypt and encrypt, or mainly just generate Kubernetes manifests from SOPS encrypted data. Helm has a Helm plugin that has similar capabilities where you're able to take encrypted content within your Helm templates and then being able to unencrypt them and make them render appropriately through your Helm chart.
Yes. So first step of GitOps is being able to write good configuration and store it in Git. And being able to leverage the tools Customize and Helm is an important way to do that. And now you have SOPS as an integration to help get your secrets into those tools safely. And so they can, these configuration files are checked into Git. And now they're checked into Git. How do we integrate SOPS within the GitOps tool itself?
Well, within the GitOps tool itself, like Flux and Argo, let's start with Argo. You can create a config management plugin that allows you to leverage either KSOPS, or it can leverage a Helm Secrets project. In Flux, you have a little more native functionality to natively consume the SOPS content. If you want to leverage one of those plugins, you have to add in initial capabilities, but at least being able to use SOPS natively as the tool, that is built into Flux itself.
I think we've covered all the main points that we talked about during our 1.5 hour long conversation. Is there anything else you'd like to say in closing?
The big one is being able to start integrating and start to collaborating with the community. That's the big thing I want to emphasize here, is that this project is alive and well, or we are under the CNCF as a sandbox project. Go ahead, and if you want to start to join the community, the best place to go right now is on Slack, in the CNCF Slack. So we are under the SOPS channel. Go ahead and start to join the community, and we're going to be kicking off a number of community meetings coming up in the coming months that will start to get your voice heard. We want to tell you about all the great features that SOPS not only has, but what we have on the roadmap, but then how you can get involved. If you're more of a coder and you want to start to get your hands dirty, go over to the SOPS GitHub organization, and inside there, you'll be able to start integrating and collaborating with the community.
Absolutely. And if you're currently using SOPS, you want to hear about that too. What use cases are out there and what's successful and what needs improvement. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate you sharing your time with us today. And thank you so much, Andrew Block, for sharing your time.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.